What up, everyone? How you guys doing today? It's Monday, and we are back for another bit of painting. How was everybody's weekend? Did everybody have a good Papa Day? Paint Liquor T. Schmidt, how's it going? Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Enjoying your Juneteenth, which I guess is some new holiday that just came about. I don't know anything about this stuff. I'm working on some more Shatterpoint today. We'll see if I finish up Kalani. Have my first squad done, pretty much. Or actually just done. Be sweet. What's up, Mo? How's it going? Hope y'all had a fantastic weekend. Well, let's get on into it. Jason should be here shortly. I haven't heard that he's not going to make it today, so he should be here at some point here soon. Walking Harder, thank you so much. Yeah, I've got a good amount of them painted now, but they're all looking pretty sweet. Oh, nice. Got to meet up with the Punisher, play a game of 10th on Saturday. How'd that go? Cool board game bar over the weekend. That's sweet. Well, let's move these guys out of the way. Get started on this here Kalani. We're getting it done. Only got a couple of models left. I can sing because Jason's not here yet. Woo! Alright, what we got left to do on Kalani? We got a gun. Needs to be painted black. Gotta refine these here. Armor bits a little bit more. And then, yeah. Oh, I gotta paint. Think. Oh yeah, some more gray. Okay. Grab our neutral gray. Or is this warm gray? Might be warm gray. Find out shortly, chat. I don't remember what color I used. We're gonna figure it out. I did use warm gray. We're going to paint all these little metal bits. We're going to give them a good old wash. Imperial Knights versus Corn Demons. You wrecked him? Who's who's playing who, T-Schmidt? Played some Zombicide and Spirit Island is sweet. I've played a lot of that game, and it is a blast. I have played it a lot with some of my local friends up in Seattle, and it's a fun game. Yeah, seriously, steep learning curve. Oh god. He's behind me! Ah! Whoa. Whoa. Ah! 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 Ah!
Damn it.
Welcome!
Damn it!
Our Fearless Talking But sure. Oh. Yeah? Do we need a therapy Monday?
Yeah.
All right, chat. Therapy Monday.
I need what I really need.
Yeah.
Is like a brief brush run in. Oops, sorry, sir, with a cattle prod.
You need a cattle prod?
Well,
you need to be poked with a cattle prod?
Well, you know, just a brief kind of, oh, haha, sorry, didn't mean to run into you, kind of an like thing with a cattle prod.
Like you want to be cattle prodded?
Just briefly.
Well, I think we can make that happen. I, however, will not be the one holding the cattle prod. That honor can be bestowed upon somebody who is not me.
Yeah. Did I do something bad over the weekend? No, I don't think so. I mean, now that I don't know. Maybe. Now you got me wondering. I went from nah to maybe. Oh my God. I'm having a rough day. A little bit of a rough day. It's very busy.
Yeah.
Very busy day.
I mean, I know some of it because we talked about stuff this morning.
Very busy day. The real cattle prod was chat all along. I mean, you're not wrong.
They are kind of our own.
It's like you need, like I feel like right now, like smelling salts would do me a lot of good.
That I can't help you with. Although,
you know, like, ooh, hoo, hoo.
You know, a little bit of that, you know, whew.
Yeah.
To your day?
Yeah. Like a little, or maybe an adrenaline shot.
That's what I have this for.
See, I don't do that. And it's not a problem. It's fine that I don't do that. But that's what I feel like I might need. Smelling salts are amazing. There's a reason so many hockey players love them. Yeah. Yep. We've cracked them on the bench before. But you got to use them sparingly. It turns out you're not supposed to do those a lot. Oh, you guys played a 10th edition game?
Yeah. Imperial Knights versus Corn Demons.
Imperial Knights versus Demons of the Corn variety.
One of the two wrecked the other. I haven't been able to figure out who was playing who.
I would think...
But T. Schmidt wrecked the Punisher.
Yeah, I would think that Knights wrecked Corn, and T. Schmidt has verified that. Because I feel like at 1,000 points, you got too many guns, T. Schmidt.
Wait, you guys are only playing 1,000 points?
He says, had Knights, 1,000 point game.
Oh.
If he had Knights at 1,000 points against Demons at 1,000... Number one, playing at 1,000 points is just like beating up an old guy. You know?
Depends on the old guy.
It's like if you have a fight with a geriatric, on the one hand, if you lose, you feel bad, and if you win, you feel bad. It was a rough matchup. I told that to a kid once, believe it or not, at the Thai food place.
At the Thai food place?
At the Thai food place. So I pull into the parking lot, and I'm pulling into a parking space, and this kid comes flying through in like his Nissan, driving across the parking places at Thai Isan. So there's this Thai building, Thai food restaurant, and it sits parallel to the road.
Yeah.
And there's like...
It's a sketchy parking
There's
lot.
like 8 parking places in front of the building, very narrow, and then there's parking around the back, right? So I pulled in off the street and was pulling right into, you kind of have to pull in off the street, do a semi U-turn to get into a spot right in front of the door, because I was just picking up my food. And this kid comes in, and he's driving across like 5 parking places parallel to the building, and cuts right in front of me, doesn't stop or anything. Like, I'm pulling into a spot, and he weasels right between the nose of my truck and the building, and then swings wide like this, and then takes all the time to back into the parking space right next to me. Right?
What the heck?
Yeah, right?
When was this?
So over a year ago.
Oh, okay. This was
well over a year ago. It was when we were at the old building.
Got it, okay.
And And so I got out of the truck, and he and his girlfriend jumped out of the truck. And I was like, great park job. Said something sarcastic to him. I don't remember what I said. He got immediately all bowed up. Right?
Of course he did.
You know? And so I just laughed at him and walked inside. He came in behind me ready to pick. They were going in there to eat, right? And he's mouthing off. And so I turned around and I go, listen, there's only 2 ways this ends, right? If you keep acting this way. Number 1, you beat up an old guy in public, which you're going to feel like an idiot, right? Or you get beat up by an old guy in public, which makes you feel more like an idiot. And the lady at the counter at the Thai food restaurant was laughing, right? And that didn't make it better because now people are laughing at the situation, and he knows I have the upper hand, and I'm way bigger than him, you know? And I'm just flatline telling him this without any emotion at all, right? And he just keeps mouthing. I get my food, you know, brush past him, get back out to my car. He walks out and sits on his car like I was going to do something to his car. Like I was going to key his car or something. It's like, But yeah, I got to use that line in public, and it made me feel very good.
That's got to be awesome.
It made me feel very good.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall for that.
Yeah, it made me feel very good. You either beat up an old guy or get beat up by an old guy, and neither of those are outcomes you want.
Neither of those situations are good for you.
Neither of those situations are good for you, so. Bloodthirster nearly one-shot a knight paladin.
Seems fair and balanced.
But then, yeah, Corn has like 4 guns in the whole index. Yeah, you're not really a shooty army.
I feel like Corn is handicapped when you can't take Angron.
Well, a lot of people are saying that 10th looks very, very bad for melee armies.
Interesting.
Because of the whole, like, and there's a knee-jerk reaction going on here to some extent with the whole, like, war gear doesn't cost points thing. Because obviously it does. It's baked into the cost of the unit. So you're actually at a disadvantage if you take the unit without the war gear, right? Because the balanced cost of the unit is factored with you taking what is the most abusive loadout.
Yeah, especially since it's free.
It can take.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't charge you.
Yeah.
So what that means is that there's no use to taking a unit that's just like tactical means of bolters. There's no freebie. They're not 90 points anymore, or 75 points or whatever they were for 5 of them, right? You now have the cost baked in of one of them having a heavy bolter, one of them having a grenade harness, stuff like that, right?
Yes.
So you take those things.
Yeah, take them all. Absolutely.
Like, duh. Like, just take the war gear and shut up.
I mean, if it's free,
this is
take the
good
best
stuff.
one.
This lets you have fun and play with your toys. Because
Yes.
I always hated the tax of having to take a unit that was just bare bones unit because I needed the point filler.
I hate taking bare bones units.
Yeah, I don't like it.
And I hate the concept of, like, I'm taking a bare bones unit because it's cheap and it's the most efficient thing possible.
Yeah.
It's just like something about it really grinds against my feelings when I play the game. I want to have units that have things on them.
Yeah.
Because
I want to play with my toys. That's why I say it. I want to play
Yeah.
with my toys and I want to play with the fun stuff. It doesn't mean that I need a heavy bolter in a Marine squad or that I care. But if it's better than the normal bolter, why not take it?
Right.
You used to not take it, and it used to seem inadequate because maybe the heavy bolter wasn't a very good weapon, and it just cost unnecessary points when because you were factoring this squad cost 75 points or whatever it is. I'm not using real numbers here, but if a squad cost 75 points and the heavy bolter was 15 points to add in or something like that, you're not going to take the squad up to 90 in certain issues because the heavy bolter wasn't worth that point.
It wasn't worth the
creep,
15
right?
point.
But now if the unit costs 85 points, let's say, so it's kind of somewhere in between,
You're not gonna not take
you put everything on
Yeah.
it, right? You give the sergeant a plasma pistol, you give the one dude a heavy bolter,
Yep.
you do the works, right?
Yep.
And you just be quiet because they're both upgrades off of the standard loadout. Bolt pistol,
Yes.
chainsword, plasma pistol, power sword. Well, okay, winner, free.
Yeah.
But I see people bitching about it on the internet, and they're like, I don't like it because it takes away the granularity of list building. And I was like, okay, well, there was only 2 types of list building. You were either going for max efficiency and not adding anything unnecessary onto your units, or you were min-maxing everything and spending the points where the points were giving you the most return damage wise, output wise or defensive wise or whatever it was. That's really all there is. There might be a feeling of you navigating this Chinese menu where you can do all of the extra things and pick it a la carte as you want to make your own meal.
But it's also not.
I think that's what people are saying they miss, is they miss the fact that I pick a tactical squad and now there's no choices.
Right.
Or their choices are very minimal.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas they used to be like I had 50 million choices.
Well, I mean,
I think that's what the people are saying they're missing, right?
Right? Like 3rd edition Chaos book, you had...
It was too much.
Too much.
Like, to build a Chaos Lord in the 3rd edition book was a lot of fun, but it was exasperating. Because once you did it and the guy got shot off the table in turn 1, you felt bad.
Yes.
Right?
Like,
because you could take, remember, because you used to be able to take, like, I played Word Bearers, and you could give him, like, demonic gifts, you could give him henchmen, you could give him all these things that made them appear nigh unkillable. And you spend all this time getting the points right, I'll do this, I'll take this away, you had 8 war gear options or something like that, and then all of a sudden you got blown up in 1 by a land raider with las cannons or something like that, right? And you're like, okay then. I like the fact that this makes list building a lot more streamlined, and you get to spend time playing the game.
Yeah.
You know, I'm okay with that.
I like the idea of making the game more about playing it and less about spending time building lists.
Yeah. Yeah,
Talking
Punisher, the
lists
ability to
options is
add
great.
like one dude, you know, at 15 points, once you had the men's squad size, and then you could add them in singles above that. I do agree with that, because now you're at that Age of Sigmar level where, because the squad sizes are fixed, but I've been trying it with Blood Angels and doing the points, and I'm always within 20 points of 2,000 when building a 2,000 point list. I have not been able to build a list that didn't get me within 10 or 20 points of 2,000, or in most cases 2,000 on the nose. Now, the ones that have felt bad is the 2,000 on the nose where I really want to take Artificer armor on a sergeant or something, and
sense.
I can't, because the Artificer armor is like 15 points or whatever it is, 20 points, and so I haven't had that, and you can't just drop a dude to make room for that. So I feel your pain on it, but I don't think that any of the things make that big a difference just looking at it. I like Age of Sigmar more than 40k and have for a long time. I just don't like the double turn and the mortal wound output of Age of Sigmar is what's kept me from playing it here recently. Because it's just like, holy hell, the mortal wound output from like certain characters and certain units is just atrocious. And I typically don't play armies that have any kind of save versus mortals at all.
Yeah. Right?
Nothing. So they just disappear. And I play elite armies that don't have any models, so a lot of mortal wounds just absolutely wipe me off the table. So I haven't enjoyed Age of Sigmar for that. But looking at 40k, the mortal wound aspect of it is not as great. There's a lot of ways to get straight to wounds now with devastating weapons or whatever it's called. So there's a lot of things that just roll 6s, do a wound, you know. 5s and 6s auto wound, that kind of stuff. I like that because it keeps time to death low, which means the games move faster. But I'm with you. I'm on the fence on the whole, like, you know, take a min size unit and then add guys piecemeal to it to get your points right. I'm on the fence on that one.
I've never really liked it, personally.
Well, I've always liked it for making sure you max your points out, because you would get to a point where you were like at 285, and for 15 points you could add another attack marine.
Yes.
Right? And so you add another body onto attack squad.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that currently in the game?
No.
It is not.
Not in 10th.
Not in 10th. You cannot add piecemeal guys.
No, it's 5 or 10.
Okay.
You pay 2 prices, 5 or 10. You know, I haven't seen any 10 or 20. Maybe demons and like gaunts and stuff may have minimum squads of 10 and then 20. But there's no 11, 12, or 13th unit because there's no individual points price per dude.
Per dude. Yeah. That makes sense.
It's baked for the unit like Age of Sigmar. You pay 120 points for 3 brutes.
Got it.
You don't have a point for 1 brute.
Yeah.
There's no 4 brute unit. It's 3 or there's 6.
Which I like for the most part, because I feel like when I look at like building...
Wad, thanks for the resub.
Well, we got a resub from the Wad Tomato.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, I was trying to interrupt.
No, you're good. I was saying, like, when I look at 30k list building, I'm like, man, I kind of hate the fact that I like have this option. I just kind of wish it was easier to build lists, especially as somebody who's like not super familiar with the game.
Yeah.
Because I think when you're super familiar with the game, those kinds of options are great. But when you're new to a game, those options are overwhelming. Because a lot of the time you're like, I don't know if this unit's good or not. I don't know what this unit necessarily does even.
Yeah.
So you're making these kind of weird decisions. You're like, I don't know if adding one extra guy matters.
Yeah. Like Walking Harder says, it's choice for the sake of having choices. And sometimes you see, I think in games like 40K especially that have been around forever, War Machine in the past has been this way, they would make changes and you would feel really bad because it was different than the way you enjoyed playing. And I've been caught up in that. I'm like, why did they take that away? Blah, 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 blah. But then you play the game and you find out that, oh, it plays so much better. There's so much less frustration with it. I can get all the weapons I want. If I want to take TAC Marines, they're now full-blown TAC Marines. There's not a min-size unit of 5 dudes over here that just hold a point that felt like if I needed them in the game, they were incapable of doing anything, right? Now they have the heavy weapon attachment, the missile launcher, or whatever. I'm not saying that's a thing. I don't know. I haven't looked at Raw Marines, but you get the drift, right? Every unit does what that unit's supposed to, and you get to pick them because now, right, there's no tax. There's no force building tax. You don't have to take, like, troops and
Oh, really?
That. No.
I didn't realize that. That's interesting.
I don't think so.
Huh.
I don't. Can somebody prove that wrong to me? It looks like you just take whatever you want. Like, you have a maximum amount of core units that you can take, I think.
Right.
But you don't have to take any of the core ones, right?
That's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, you just have a max of particular types of units you can take, like elites or whatever non-core. You can take like a max of 6 units or 9 units or whatever it is. But you can build your whole force with that, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazeballs if they keep it that way, because I always hated the tax of HQ 2 troops or HQ 3 troops. Because depending on the army you were playing, your troops were garbage. Yeah. And so that's where it became that you needed those min-cost units. You didn't want to give them any war gear because they were the tax you had to pay to get to the units you wanted. Yeah. You had to put in 2 troops that in some army lists weren't good. 2 units of boys. They're not going to do a whole lot, so I'm not going to kit them out. I'm just going to make 2 units of boys at min units, and they're gonna allow my force org to move to the things I want: elites, heavies, flyers, all that stuff. Now you don't have that.
Well, right? And now the benefit is everything has like a not objective secured, but everything has like a value for controlling or contesting objectives, right? So every individual unit in the game has a number associated with it.
Oh, it's even better than what I'm saying. It's min 1 HQ, so you have to have an HQ, which makes sense. You got to have a leader, and then 0 to 6 battle line units. So you can't just flood with battle line units, which are the cheap things. So it keeps you from spamming like the best battle line units. Yeah. And then a max of 3 of every other data card.
Oh, that's cool.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Because now it means that I can only take 3 Death Company.
Yeah, you can't spam.
I can't take 9 Death Company, but I can take 3 Death Company, 3 Sanguinary Guard, 3 Dreadnaughts, leader.
Yeah.
So Dante.
Which is cool.
And now,
that's really cool.
Hell yeah, I'm down. Because now, I think what we're missing and what a lot of people arguing are missing is that 40K just opened up to be everybody's game, every way you want to play. Yeah. It doesn't mean your units are good. That's their deal with balance. But it means that if you want to play all Dreadnaughts, you can play all Dreadnaughts. You just have to now be like, okay, I got 3 of this Dreadnought, 3 of this Dreadnought, 3 of this Dreadnought, 3 of this Dreadnought, right? So you have to hope that there's enough of that. But like for the all... like Wraith Knight. I don't know if Wraith Knights or Wraith, whatever the Wraiths for Eldar are battle line or not. But you had to take the melee or the shooty ones. Now you can take 3 of each, kind of a thing, right? As opposed to them sharing a slot that you had to figure out which to take. You couldn't load up too many.
Got it.
I think that's interesting, and I think they probably, hopefully, have balanced it such that now if you want to take the all-buggy list for orcs, you can take the all-buggy list for orcs, but the points now are balanced in such a way because you're having to take all of the war gear options embedded in that cost. You don't have to take them, but they're embedded in that cost, that now it makes things seem overpriced, but because you can use them in place of the tax you used to have to spend for troops that you didn't want or need in your battle force, right? Because I never needed troops.
Right.
I just didn't need them. I didn't need normal TAC Marines if I was going to do an all jump pack list. Why? Assault squads were fast attack or elites.
Yeah, and now you can take all.
Now I had to put like 2 scout squads in because they even moved scout squads out of that. We had to take 2 TAC Marine squads. Like, why?
But now your whole army can be jetpacks, right?
Oh yeah,
that's
everything.
Awesome.
Yeah, everything.
That's really
because I was really worried. I was like, I wasn't seeing keywords. I wasn't seeing anything that made any sense to me. Yeah, that's why. Because the only thing that is keyworded are the troop units, the battle line units, and you don't have to take any of them.
That's really cool.
Now, they may come out with battalions that give you benefits for matching the battalion loadout,
which I think is cool.
which incentivizes you to do those things, but hopefully it makes them, have benefits other than just their crappy stat line.
And I would like to see them be options, not this is so good that I have to take.
Right. Yeah, that's my thing.
Because that was kind of the problem that War Machine fell into with like themeless, right? It was supposed to be an option, and it became a replacement for your regular troop building.
Like Genie's like, oops, all gladiator variants. Well, there's 9 units. And can you take them in squads? Do gladiators have squad size or no? Vehicles, I think, are mostly just ones now, right? No squads? Or I'm interested in this because do speeders come in squads of 1 to 3? And you can still take 3 units of like the normal land speeders? I think that's good, man. Squads for gladiators would be so bitchin'. Forget it. Here's my army.
What's a gladiator?
The gladiator is a space marine. It's kind of like the Primaris Predator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Except they make a ball predator version of it that has like just twin-linked freaking onslaught Gatling cannons and weapons out its wazoo. It's amazing. It's amazing. I have a model here that's going in my army.
So I've been thinking about a little bit more what I would want to play in 10th. And
I'm gonna shut the door.
Oh, I didn't realize it was sold. I was thinking about Guard. More specifically, Astra Militarum. So if anybody knows anything about Astra Militarum in 10th, I would love to have a conversation about it to see kind of what I would be getting myself into. Because I love those models. And I would love to paint up some, like, tanks. Word on the street is Guard slaps. Okay, well, that's exciting. I would say I'm more curious to see how they play and what things are, like, interesting in 10th. I'm not so super worried about them being, like, super good. I mean, obviously, I would like them to be good enough to not be bad, but there are definitely, like, interesting. And all the new stuff is really, really cool. I have no interest in playing Eldar, really. I could potentially be convinced to do like Dark Eldar or Drukhari or whatever they're called now. I think they're pretty cool. But I think Guard is just they're really cool. And they have Krieg models now. You can effectively respawn a battle line unit. Oh, that's pretty good. So I'm thinking about doing Guard. I have the hankering to paint some dudes and tanks.
Dudes and tanks.
Dudes and tanks.
Okay.
And make them all rugged, beat up, lots of weathering, trench warfare type stuff. I got the hankering for it.
Here's your ASMR for the day. Can you guess what chips I'm about to eat? So Guard.
Yeah.
Ah. Man.
What? Not a fan?
Maybe.
I think it would be cool.
I have to see how an armored company plays.
Yeah, I have no idea how they play. I'm just talking about pure. I think those models are cool, and I've wanted to paint a Guard army for a long time.
Yeah.
Specifically, like the new like gun emplacements. I think look really cool. I've been seeing from Faustus on the Discord.
His are all 3D printed. His are really cool.
Oh, really?
The
I didn't
normal
realize
models
these were all
don't look
3D
like
printed. Okay. They look similar enough to the ones that I've seen that it doesn't bother me too much. But they're very cool. And I'm like, it's getting me to be like, maybe I do this.
Hankering for tankering.
Hankering for a tankerin. I like it. I'm stealing it. I I realized that I already have a Space Marine army, and so doing another Space Marine army seems probably not the best option.
Yeah, I was really on the fence, but I wanted to do Blood Angel, so.
Well, you've already got your Blood Angels started, and you've got a lot of time investment into it, and it works for both 30k and 40k, which is pretty cool. Sons of Horus is a little awkward to do in 40k. But
Raven, your 8-year-old daughter plays with a Toy Story themed guard army. That's incredible, by the way.
Awesome.
I'm so psyched for this. Is 10th easier to play? I have not played a game, so take it from me, but I know I'm really enjoying the list building aspect of it. I think it's easier to put an army on the table. Playing is still going to be tactical movement, shooting, wargamey. So I think there will be less to manage on the table, which should streamline it a bit, but it's still a move, shoot, put your stuff in the right place, make smart decisions kind of a thing. But I think now it becomes more of a learning experience, and you can practice and get better. Whereas, now a lot of that comes down to balance. There's going to be armies you're going to play against that are going to absolutely trounce you no matter what you do. But yeah, I have Funyuns. Mo was right, but then I think Wad got it right too. Right? Wad said chili cheese Fritos. I have both. Because why stop at one?
You still probably have that big bag too, unless you eat.
I do have some of that, but this one fell out of the box over there, so I was like, well, I'm going to take advantage of it while it's here.
Oh, there was a random one still in the box? Or did we get a new box?
Watch says, do eat, though guard is the wrong answer because it's not orcs.
I tried to do orcs a little bit ago, and I just...
Orcs are the better guard.
I mean, maybe, sure, maybe they're better in the game, but I like the way that...
No, they're better.
They're better?
Lore, looks, attitude,
yeah,
language. Orcs is just better.
Wog. Yeah. Nothing but the wogs.
Orcs are like Cockney soccer hooligans.
They are.
That's what
funny.
they're patterned after, is soccer
admit.
hooligans, believe it or not. I was talking to you, or the OG GW guys. They taught me about windmilling in.
Windmilling. What is
that? That was how they created the idea for orcs.
Wait, what's
mass carnage?
What's windmilling?
No fear. It's when you put your keys in between your knuckles, and you just go walking into the crowd like this.
What the heck?
That's British people for you. I don't know. They taught me.
Fritzers.
I learned that in Bugman's Bar.
Oh my goodness. Guys sound dangerous.
To infinity and beyond. I just want to see this army.
I also want to see this army. It sounds awesome.
And metalcore pit. Metalcore pits are just sad representations of soccer hooligans. You have to look chicken and egg, which came first on those. Your RPG group is playing Morkborg? That's awesome! Your orcs on a Space Hulk. What are you fighting?
You're moving away from Phoenix? What?
Why would you leave Phoenix? What did we do to you?
Yeah, Phoenix is awesome.
That's where we are. We're in downtown Phoenix. Why would you leave us? We just only got to know you. We're right here.
In our offense, they did say sadly.
You're on a mission to steal some brewery thing from like a filtration, like a hooch filtration from the goblins. I love it. I love that they're space gobos.
There needs to be space gobos. Life is just less without the gobos.
They've always been horrible, right? Is it the time? Do I have to do the paint thing?
I mean, you could always just chill on the chair.
I could go chill on the chair.
Yeah, chill on the chair.
It feels like a chill on the chair day.
Hey, I can sit here and I can paint. We can talk. I'm down.
I think it feels like a chill on the chair day.
Chill on the chair. Chill on the chair. Chill on the chair.
Actually, I like talking here.
Or you can chill here and talk. That works too.
And I probably could prime this guy. Would probably do me some good to prime this guy. I probably should.
You want me to throw it on?
What I need to do is put basing material on him. So I do not need the airbrush for that.
Okay.
I need.
Which flavor would you like?
Figure out. I will figure it out. I'm just gonna use like coarse and fine. Gray.
Gray.
Some gray. Gonna be a slacker today, man. It's a day. I got a lot going on. Not a good excuse, I know, but that's all I got. I don't know if I feel like now that he's glued down, I thought I had a base for this guy.
You ripped that one off of the other guy.
No, I know, but now that I'm thinking I had resin bases for this whole army. I think. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking about my Dark Angels.
Isn't this for your Dark Angels?
This is Blood Angels.
Right.
But thanks for playing.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I don't know what you heard.
I'm not gonna put stuff on here because I think what's gonna wind up happening is I will crack him off of this base again and put him on a resin base of some sort. I'll have to dig around and figure out.
Find one.
Figure it out. In that case, I will have to airbrush, which means I do need to move all of my Blood Angels out of the way so they don't get overspray on them.
That's a little overspray from between Space Marine friends.
I'm not going to answer that question. Alright. Hokadok.
Alright. Redoing some of the green on Kalani. I'm really happy with how it's coming along. A bit brighter.
Gretchen are essentially space goblins. They are, but there aren't enough units to matter. I mean, you got Killicans, right? But you just don't have enough, like, Gobbo stuff.
Are Gobos in Killicans?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Death Dreads are orcs and Killicans are goblins.
Oh, that's cool.
Or Gretchen, or whatever they're called. For some reason, they wanted to call everything orcs, but not goblins. They're just space goblins. Space goblins don't need lungs because they don't believe in breathing. Why would you breathe?
Who needs to do that?
Breathing's just, it takes too much time.
It takes too much time.
It takes too much time. It takes time away from all the fun you're trying to have. Breathing's for dummies. Breathing's for noobs.
Whew.
One last pass with this.
Oh yeah, Christmas sushi. We actually have a mic in the studio for when we have chair guests.
He bought new mics, so he's excited to use them.
Oh.
Bought a bunch of new mics.
I mean, look, if you're so excited for use of new mics, you're welcome to come in and hang out.
Chris could sit on the chair.
Chris could come sit on the chair.
It's the therapy chair.
Yep.
Have a seat on the therapy couch.
Have a seat on the therapy couch there, Christmas sushi.
Black primer. Your lungs are red, they breathe faster. I like it. Breathing is something weak humies do. I'm down. We can find a way to turn off the breathing apparatus without me having to suffer through the not living part. I'm down. I'll play along.
Oh, so your Mo is saying, did you see the 3-body problem is going to be a Netflix show?
Oh, yeah. Maybe it'll teach me what I'm missing. Some of the worst sci-fi ever created.
The 3-body problem?
Yeah.
The worst sci-fi ever created. Interesting.
And it had me at the beginning. Chat has been through this, so don't get me started. But when I first started reading the book, I was very, very intrigued. It had took a very realistic but unique approach at looking at the Chinese Revolution, the Communist Revolution, and had it to where it had a dissenting tone to it for some of what went on with the red shirts and all the fascist, pseudo-fascist communist takeover of China by the whatever it's called, People's Communist PCP. I don't remember what it's called. And was very interesting. Good. It had a really unique take for a Westerner to read because it had enough of the. Because I would go through, and as I was watching or as I was reading, I would go through and look at historic documents, on what was being talked about, and it was all really good references to periods of time that he placed characters in. The characters, like we talk about, had a reason to be in the story. All of that. It was setting up kind of an emotional response for each of these characters, and how things were going for them during this time is very troubling, as it should be. And then it went off the rails. Then it had one character who was completely pissed off at the world, thought humans were despicable because of what had happened during that whole time, and the world's reaction and non-reaction, and her basic enslavement by the Communist Party because she was an intelligent scientist and the things she had to do, and moved into a deal where somehow she's the only person on the planet who recognizes this message coming from a distant civilization.
Okay.
And she decides, because she was warned that hey, there was another signal that came in that said, hey, do not respond to the main signal because they will come and annihilate your planet and enslave everybody and blah, 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 blah. This is not a peaceful thing that you're listening to.
She responds.
And so she responds because she's like, screw humanity. Right? Mm-hmm. So it lost me there. It lost me, not because of the screw humanity bit, but because somehow she was the only person that knew about this. So it goes unnoticed forever. So there was just a MacGuffin that they made up about how this one remote listening post in China is the only one that recognized what was going on. Everybody else was at lunch or dinner or on vacation, you know,
Or
not paying
smart
attention
enough.
like silly Westerners do. So it broke me there. I was like, okay, well, that's not how that works. But okay, great. The science behind slingshotting messages in the sun and all of that is a little far-fetched. There's been people on both sides of the fence on that one, so it's got a bunch of pseudoscience in it. And then the aliens that it creates are another story altogether, but it was hard for me to get behind because of that, because the premise was so weak.
Started out strong, turned out to be not so strong.
Yeah, and then it had a whole bunch of unlikable people that were in there that were, you know, the group that had been formed afterwards, that are the ones that are awaiting their overlords from another planet, the ones that are making sure that humanity doesn't develop certain technologies that would help them fight. There was a nanoparticle or something. It was a proton that was embodied with all this information and capabilities that they sent from the other planet because it's the only thing that could travel fast enough to get here. And so they sent a single proton that was like an advanced agent. I don't know. It was a bunch of pseudoscience. So made it hard to I mean, I quit reading it. I think I finished the first book, but I was like, nope. No more of this. But obviously, there's a lot of people out there that hate the human race enough, so it is a huge award winner. Of course, I never read the rest of it, so I don't know how mankind comes out in the end. The part it refers to with the three-body problem is that there were three rotating suns that didn't have... there was no defined orbit for this planet around its suns, and so the people, the race that had somehow evolved in this chaotic nature, which it doesn't ever explain how that came to pass, right? You talk about a planet that has the least favorable ability to have life on it is one that every few decades all or multiple suns align in the sky to a point where it just absolutely burns the planet's surface to a crisp. But somehow a race of beings evolved on this planet that has always had this problem and never talks through the problem of how did they get to the... Evolution doesn't happen overnight, right? It's not like a being crawls out of the water, suns come and burn the planet apart, and then all of a sudden that being evolves, you know, its neighbor who didn't die evolves into a thing that can dehydrate its body when more than one sun rises. It's just the stupidest premise. Like, it's literally the stupidest premise. It literally is that. It's like life finds a way.
Life finds a way.
Yeah, it's the Jurassic Park premise, except Jurassic Park was 100 times more realistic than the three-body problem. I was just sitting there left with this feeling in my head of how they just... It literally is the MacGuffin. They created a scenario, and they started from that scenario trying to base pseudo, like, real life science, right? The book was trying to be hard science fiction and have some sort of real, like, you know, like, this could really happen. But it lost you with its setup. It lost me with its setup. I'm like, okay, what you're talking about might be able to happen, but what you led into with is utterly impossible. At one point in time, the sun's gravity tears a chunk of the planet off, but somehow life continues. I'm like, you should read a book, dude. Before you write books, maybe read some books.
Pretty sure that
that's the way gravity works.
You rip a part of a planet off, I think that planet is kind of just toast.
Yeah, kind of not how that works. Like, it's called atmosphere, weather patterns, gravity. That's an extinction level event.
There's so much that goes into that.
That's an extinction level event. And the microbes that might survive aren't going to then evolve into a better form of the humans that were there, or the bodies that were there originally. It just was infuriating, man.
Because you look at that, and then you read, like, The Expanse.
Lion Creative, that's awesome.
Oh, heck yeah.
Is it worse Is it worse than sitting in a 2-hour planning meeting to prep for the upcoming 9-hour and 5-hour planning meetings later in the week? I used to love that working for big corporations where you had to have a meeting to plan for the meetings. We would go and have a lunch meeting where they'd spend to bring in sandwiches for the engineering team, and we would sit around and discuss how we were going to present our engineering plan to the higher-ups. And it always made me laugh. I get it. It was better to be prepared.
Yeah.
But we could have just talked about that in the bullpen area.
Yes.
You know, we didn't have to have a lunch meeting.
Yeah.
That was just people. That was just managers wanting to spend company dollars to feel like, hey, our company has a lunch meeting. You know, I just always thought it was funny.
It's like, or
I didn't mind the sandwiches, but I'm just saying.
Just let our employees have lunch and relax.
Dower says, don't hold back. Tell us how you really feel. Well, I've asked a lot. Like, I even went online and asked some questions in groups that were focused on the 3-body problem, which I never do. Like, this is it. Okay, so here's the deal. You're having me read this story about Malazan, Book of the Fallen.
Yeah.
Right? So, reading this, and I'm almost done with book 1, and I'm sticking it out, and I'm finding parts enjoyable, right?
Ooh, that's a good thing to hear.
But I told you that the last time.
Oh, yeah.
But I doubt I'm going to read any more, right? And then you have the 3-body problem, which is funny because they're 2 books that infuriate me in the same way for different reasons.
Yeah.
Right? One of them is because it's a great world. I really want to be involved in it, but the characters and the character building in it are atrocious, so it keeps me from wanting to read anymore. And the 3-body problem is that it's functionally an intriguing sci-fi trope told in a new way, right? Aliens coming to planet Earth, to save themselves from their own failing planet. And when they get here, it's not all going to be nice. They don't have any need for us. They'll just get rid of us or enslave us or whatever, right? It's the day the Earth stood still, right? So it's a science fiction trope that's been told a million times, but it's always neat as a science fiction lover to find new, interesting things. And this one coming from the Chinese perspective during the communist thing and building up its characters through the atrocious things that happened during the communist takeover of China and the kind of restriction of free thought and the science and the way sciences were treated over there was an intriguing look into something that we don't think about. So I was enjoying it for that. But yeah, it went so far off the rails with its suppositions of how all this stuff started. So I actually took time to go and ask questions for people that had read the whole series to say, hey, is the alien thing just a joke or is that real? These aliens that they've created. And everybody was like, no, that's real. And I'm like, okay, forget it then. I was hoping that maybe it was just an analogy or some sort of a setup for this thing, but no, it was not. It was not.
I am a little bummed out that the book didn't not 3-body, but the other one. I'm a little bummed that it didn't do good enough. James.
No, it's interesting right now because I'm at the part where they're having What's Her Nuts party. And,
yeah, that's very much true.
And, what's his name? Gallic comes in and assassinates the dude that set the assassination contract for his friend.
Mm-hmm.
And his friend lived, so his friend is going to rise back to take his name and take the estate back from the girl who has it. And so I think she's about to kill herself. At least that's the way they set it up. But nobody cared about her anyway. It was political intrigue without any writing behind it, so nobody cared. And now it's that the tyrant. So the most interesting part of the book has happened so far, wherein we get Croppa showing his power by drawing the tyrant into his dream and nearly capturing the tyrant in his dream, giving him an option that they would either present the tyrant through the dream to his death by the sword, the soul sword or whatever what's his nuts carries.
Animator Rake.
Yeah, Animator Rake. Or let him go off with this other god who's fallen from favor, doesn't have any followers, isn't really a god anymore. The hooded god, the god of paths. I don't remember the name.
Interesting.
The one that's in Croppa's dreams all the time, who realizes he has no worshipers. He's kind of fallen out of favor. He's like, it's our time is over. Come with me. I still have paths to follow. And he invited the tyrant to go live life with him, to which the tyrant drops out of the dream and gets into a new body. Yeah. And everybody freaks out. Like Croppa's freaking out now. and I haven't gotten to the part where I understand what the tyrant is in now. but everybody's in this courtyard that seems like a setup for the tyrant becoming whatever this wood thing is in the middle of the because it's growing with power and nobody really knows. But Sori's there, and they're figuring out that Sori has the old witch or seer in her still. Yeah. The seer's been protecting her. So there's a culmination of a lot of storylines happening in this courtyard right now, which is being interesting, but none of it's really fleshing out much of anything. I think they're spending more time on the coin bearer and his wish for dating this daughter of a council person, which is stupid. Yeah. Like, none of that seems to be... It's really weird. It's like the author has taken a million characters and thought he needs to tell you something about all of them, and only does superficial stories about all these characters, so none of them have any depth. Is my old argument. That's the whole thing, and it stands true all the way till now, except that Rallick Nan probably has the most depth of any of them, and not much storytelling. It's all done through his actions. Yeah. Right? It's no backstory. We don't know anything about the guy. But we see more emotion from him and how he gets so bent out of shape because they ordered a hit on his friend that he goes and kills everybody. Yep. And then the leader of the Assassin's Guild comes and says, "Oh, you did a great job. Come with me." You know? Yeah. It makes no sense. But it was probably
you're talking about the leader of the Claw.
Yeah. No, not the leader of the Claw. The leader of the Assassins organization in Darujistan comes, because that's his boss.
Yeah, okay, got it.
She comes, and he's expecting her to have him killed, because he went against this deal. Yeah. And she doesn't. She says, "I have a task for you. Come with me." Rando. Audible was bastages and didn't cancel your trial, and you weren't diligent about making sure it canceled. Sounds like maybe I should use my credit on this 3-body problem thing. Oh my God. Go for it. Let me know if you see something I missed. Maybe I'm just stupid in my old age.
Hey, Paint Liquor. Crocus is the name of the kid, right?
Crocus is the coin bearer.
Yeah. He's in 2, right? He's one of the characters that is a viewpoint in 2, right? If I recall.
Crocus is the coin bearer, and he's an idiot.
Yes, he is.
I'm assuming they want him to be an idiot.
Yes.
You know, they've set him up to be this bumbling,
he's like
bumbling
a young
idiot that
kid who doesn't know anything.
Comes of age during the books or something like that. Yeah. But it's not a young adult book, so I'm okay with that. But you just don't care about him, you know. He gets fleshed out in book 4.
I do think it's actually 2. I feel like he's in 2. It's been a while since I've read 2. So
Delta says one of the cool things about Godzilla is that his origin story makes some sense. Is that in response to my saying that the origin is basically as important as the story you tell about it after the fact? Yes, I would agree. Godzilla's a really simple trope, right? But it works, right? It always works. There's always a setup. There's always a reason to be involved. They're not always done well. It's a B-movie pulp thing, but that's fine. It knows what it wants to be.
Yeah.
You know?
It's one thing if you make B-movie pulp with the intention of making B-movie pulp.
So, Red Dwarf, Hitchhiker's Guide, those types of things have weird instantaneous premises, right? Earth is being destroyed to make room for a galactic highway, right? Seems like a stupid premise. Galactic highways don't take up physical space. Why do you have to kill the Earth, right? So you could, if you liked hard science fiction, you could write that off as dumb book is dumb. But it's not, because it knows what it wants to be, and the premise is as faulty as the rest of the book, and as tongue-in-cheek as the rest of the book, which makes Hitchhiker's Guide such a lasting quantity in science fiction. It's phenomenal, because it knows what it's trying to do, and it pulls no punches, and it gets it done. It's when I get books that are trying to be dead serious with that same faulty premise of, hey, we're making a galactic highway, we have to destroy the Earth. You're like, okay, your premise is dumb, so dumb book is dumb, because you don't give me the opportunity to see you for the tongue-in-cheek nature that you're trying to present me with. That's the problem with the 3-body problem, is that it's dumb book is dumb, right? The storytelling is actually very good within the book, but the premise is so far-fetched and stupid that the book loses me as the type of reader that I am, right? It's if you want me to take your book serious, you do a great job with the characters, a great job building the world and telling a story. It's just the story that makes sense and is the reason for the book is delusional at best in its premise, and so it makes it very hard, right? It's like the movie Starship Troopers versus the book Starship Troopers.
I've never read the book.
So the book is just a short story, right?
Okay.
But it was more serious sci-fi.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Each of the mobile infantry were space. That's where they got Space Marines from for Warhammer.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Because they each had like micro tactical nukes in their backpack, and like 3 or 4 of them would go down to a planet and wipe it out. Absolutely kill all the bugs.
Yeah.
No, just glaze it glass. Right. Jump packs could jump kilometers with their jump packs and their armor, their power armor, and all that stuff. So the mobile infantry was huge, or whatever they called them, right? And so it, while not being like rock hard science fiction, like maybe The Expanse was trying to be, and maybe The Expanse is a better way to look at this. The Expanse was a better job of looking at how sci-fi would be if we really got there, right?
Yes.
The spaceships weren't the Millennium Falcon; they were the space shuttle.
Yes.
Right.
Well, and they do a good job because it's like 150 years in the future, I think, is when it takes place. So it's like a reasonable period of time where you could look at this and you're like, this isn't like faster than light travel. This is us getting the next stage of engine that can take us.
We've gotten to Jupiter.
Yeah, it's like we can go to Jupiter. Exactly.
And the belt and Mars. So yeah. So I feel like, being hard sci-fi or whatever, but it's like the difference between that and like the movie Starship Troopers that was just trying to be a teenage love story with war going on in the background. Yep. Right.
And big bugs.
The Forever War is good, yeah. Phantom of Truth, the movie is so much better than when it's watched as a wartime propaganda film. Definitely. Oh, yeah. I'm not saying I don't like the Starship Troopers movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to compare it to the source material, to what it was, and the tongue-in-cheek B-movie nature of the movie versus what the initial intent with the book was, and that they're two totally separate things, right? So much so that if you get mad at the movie for not being like the book, like people are about the Rings of Power and things like that, you're just an idiot, right? Because you can see very clearly that they just took the idea of space and bugs and put it in a cool movie and used the title. They're not even the same thing. Like, the characters are not the same. The setup is not the same. Nothing's the same. So it's fun. It's just there for fun, and it works. But yeah, there's books like The Three-Body Problem that don't do that very well. Like, it's not trying to be fun. It's trying to be really serious. And that guy's gotten a tremendous amount of accolades for his writing. And the writing is very good. I would give you that. The book is good. It's very well written. It was an enjoyable read for the way it was put together. The content sucked. So that was my big problem with it. But yeah, you definitely have to divorce the source from the movie there. Payne's great.
Well, I am glad that you're enjoying the ending parts of the book where they're given a little bit more fleshing out or rather culminating the storylines.
Yeah, it was a good recommendation. People have been telling me for years that I should check out Malazan Book of the Fallen. It's always been something that chat has been, recommended when we go and talk about my reading list and all that. People have been like, I think you would enjoy it. And I think if the characters were fleshed out, I would enjoy it a ton. I mean, I can admit that right away, because the storyline and the world building has me captured. I just get really frustrated because of that. It's almost because of that I'm so disgruntled with the whole book.
Yeah.
Because it's like, wow, you nearly had a home run if you could just actually write characters.
Yeah. Now I need to go back and read the second book to see how much different it is from the first. Because I remember it being much more focused. Oh, are you talking about the road outside of the castle, Paint Liquor? If that's what you're talking about.
It's like they had this great setup in the book with the tyrant fighting the dragons, and they just threw it away. They had like a couple of good paragraphs of him fighting the dragons, and then they just threw it away. That could have been spectacular. And it was just not spectacular. He just is like, he goes from one sentence. This is no lie. If you remember, you know what I'm talking about. He goes from one sentence saying that he's about to kill the red dragon, right?
Mm-hmm.
To immediately giving the red dragon a pass. Get out of jail for your pass. For no reason. Because he sees the city. That's it. One sentence to the next. He says, I'm going to kill you. And then they go through and they say he sees Darujistan. And then he looks back at the dragon and goes, you can go. Accept my generosity. It will only happen once.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. That is kind of weird.
Like, he is bolstered and blithered and spat and yelled and screamed at this dragon about how he's going to end her this entire time. And then he sees a city bigger than anything he's ever seen. He goes, aha, I have questions. You may go, dragon.
There's a dragon in this book? I honestly, obviously...
There's 5 of them.
Of them?
What?
I'm going to be honest, I don't remember this part.
The whole thing with what's his nuts in the moon thing is that he is the lord over the 5 dragons. That's his whole shtick.
I did not pick up on.
The whole shtick for him is that he lords over these 5 dragons, the ancient dragons.
Animator Rake?
Yes! It's his whole thing. He's the Lord of Dragons on the card. Holding the sword of flame with the dragon. And oh my god, chat.
Alright, well, I'm going to have to finish.
Oh my god, chat. Oh my god, chat. Oh my god, chat.
Well, missed that bit. We missed something. I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of bits and pieces in the book. And when they get
that's the
deck
problem.
of
There's just too many infinitesimally small story plot points that don't always fit together feasibly.
Or they explain something that doesn't necessarily make sense unless you are like really paying attention. Or there's like...
I think it's the Raven, right? The old lady Raven that sees the dragons leave Moonstone or whatever it's called. And she's like, the time of the Tista Andi has come as the dragons depart to go fight the tyrant. Because the prophecy that about the Lord of Dragons or whatever his name is, not the Lord of Dragons, that's very Game of Thrones-ish, but it might be. There's 4 black dragons and a red one. It goes into great depth about how they fly, their formation with the red one in the middle, and they are older than old. The tyrant recognizes them and knows the name of the red one. They are older than time itself, and he vows to destroy them. But then he's like, oh, look, city, fly, be free. Makes no sense. It makes no sense. Automaton says, anyone read 1Q84? Adam Savage had it on his list of his top sci-fi books. 1984? Or, I don't know, 1Q84. Gosu, what's happening?
What's up, Gosu? How you doing?
Paint Liquor, the resolution of book 2 is one of your favorite bits.
There's a lot of really interesting stuff that happened.
Well, like I said, I think that the whole book is a great setup of a world. But I think the most in-depth explanation we have for my feelings on it are how we talked about it being like the Silmarillion. It's an encyclopedia of crap, trying to have the persona of a book about characters that matter and missing the mark.
Yeah.
Next we do Dark Plum. Pow.
This your red?
1Q84. It's originally a Japanese book. Appears to be about people slipping into parallel dimensions. Okay. I just read a comics last night. I took some time to read some graphic novels that I have. One of them is called Black Science. And it was phenomenal. Really good. I don't remember the authors. I don't have it here at work, so I can't tell you. But called Black Science, and it was good enough to make me want to go pick up the rest. I was at the comic book store not too long back, and I had a bunch of credit, and so I bought a handful of graphic novels that were recommended by the store manager.
This is Cody.
Cody, yeah.
Yeah, Samurai.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that I did, because the Black Science is really good. He also gave me, oh gosh, I can't remember what it's called now. I'm a horrible human. Nemesis, Mark Millar. The setup on that was pretty amazing. Really interested to see what happens with Nemesis. If there's, I know there's Nemesis Reborn or another Nemesis comic coming out of all that, so that'll be interesting. Nemesis is like, what if Batman was bad? That's a bad way to put it. That doesn't do it justice, but that's kind of the feeling you get. You haven't started your June challenge yet. I mean, you still got time. We're only like halfway through the month.
We're more than halfway through the month. We're like 2/3 of the way through the month.
It's like a week and a half. He's good. There must be a story in the swords on the ballista. Yes, or on the ballistas. This is a standard Redemptor Dread that I took the arms off of. I believe I bought it off of secondhand deal, and I believe it was probably a Black Templar Dread. And so I went through and cut a trough in the banner here and cut a tear out of one of the little shoulder shields that GW sells. So I cut the tear out and put the tear on there so it has the, because we're doing Blood Angels. I guess the story should be that we're doing this for our Blood Angel army. We've got our Dante that I'm finishing up. And then we've got the color scheme down for how we're doing our red, which is what you're seeing me pull together now with the Payne's Gray into the Dark Plum and then into our reds, right? So I wanted a Venerable style Dreadnought. I don't like the Redemptor's arms. So when they came out with the Ballistas, I was like, yes! So I bought these 3D printed ones to go on just a regular Redemptor I had laying around. But again, it already had the swords on there that I was like, I got to figure something to do with those. So I took more little Blood Angel shields that you can see on there that have the blood drops in the wings and put them on the hilt. So now it's like, he used to be a dual wielding power sword somebody, and now he just has guns and he's pissed off about it. So that's a story. Just small kit bash stuff. Yeah, it's really just I shaved the back of the shield so that they would stick close enough to the hilt to not look like too janky on there. And then, like I said, I just cut out a little triangular trough on the banner so that the tear would look like it was falling out of the skull's eye. Really simple stuff. There's not a whole lot of room for other stuff on here. I have a big banner, but I didn't want to tear this missile launcher off. I don't know that the ballistas can even have that, but I thought about tearing that off and putting a banner on it, but I'll leave it. I think it's fine. I didn't want to put the banner on this guy because I feel like if any of my dreads are going to have a banner, it would be like the close combat ones. I generally like the close combat ones to have the banner.
That makes sense to me.
I feel like they charge in all grand and scary, trumpeting out loud. Holy hell, this guy's got a banner bigger than me. He must be important and going to kill me. I have an old sense of Space Marines, I think. I feel like they're more like sci-fi knights, right? No matter what legion it is or what chapter it is, I feel like they're all like big knightly orders. They would come at you all flaunting.
I mean, they kind of are.
Well, they really are. I mean, the Imperial Fists are yellow, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
You don't dress in yellow for war unless you just don't care if they see you or not. And I think that's its own fear tactic, right?
Yeah. I mean,
it's like if the enemy comes at you in pink tanks, you're dead already, right?
Yep.
You just write it off and go home. Sorry, didn't sign up for this because those guys know something I don't.
Like, those are Emperor's children. We don't want to be anywhere near those guys.
Those guys know something about this battle that I don't. Yeah, Space Marines want you to see them come in. It's the fear factor, right? The angels of death. But again, that goes in league with the whole there aren't very many. You're not going to see a lot of them at once. The Horus Heresy tells it very, very well in the sense that when a lot of them were together, it was almost lost on you. Like human minds couldn't comprehend it because of the breadth of power in one location, right? And in 40K, to see like a whole squad of Marines, they do it well in some of the video games, right? Like the intro to Space Marine 2 has 3 of them drop onto a planet and annihilate a whole force of Tyranids.
I mean, that's pretty sick.
And it was awesome.
Yeah,
and the dudes, sweet. The Space Marines that were or the Imperial Guard that were there,
they just like look on.
Were just like,
yeah,
you know. And that's the way I envision Space Marines. So I really like the grandeur and banners and big flowy things. And when they come in hard, and everybody around is just like, OMG, you know. Whereas the game has reduced it to just another piece of plastic, so it makes it tough to live that life you want to as a Space Marine player. You want 5 Space Marines to kill your opponent, you know.
Be cool
but
if they
Games
were
Workshop would not be a $500 million company if only 5 Space Marines could win the game.
Yeah, you got to be able to use a bunch more than that.
Yeah, you got to be able to put 50 of them on the table and let Imperial Guard kill them with flashlights.
Kill them with flashlights? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I brought my
Punisher, exactly. He's got the swords on there for his brethren to come by and pop them off when they need them. 2 power swords on his chest. The Assault Marines can jump over his back and grab him. All Kung Fu style.
Kung Fu style.
Oh, wow. On Audible, this book is 46 hours.
3 body problem?
Yeah.
That's a long book.
Yeah, I don't think it's that long. I don't have one that has interviews with anybody. And it's not acted out. It's all just one narrator.
Oh, here's another question I had for you related to Malazan. What did you think of the narrator?
I liked him a lot.
Okay.
I thought that the voices have brought the characters alive. I think that's why things like Krappa have an opportunity to feel like good characters.
Yeah.
I think it's all in the voice talent. I think if I were reading this book, I would not have made it through chapter 5.
Interesting.
Yeah, it had to have been an audiobook. Otherwise, I would have thrown it away and burned it. Given it back to whoever loaned it to me.
Well, you want to know another depressing thing is they changed narrators.
That's what you told me, and that's kind of a bummer. I mean, as long as the other one's good too, then I'm okay with it.
It's. I don't think that he's bad. He's just different. Because this guy is like, he's English, right?
Yeah.
Or some variation of.
Yeah.
The other guy is like not.
I'm okay with that.
He's
I
got
don't
an
mind.
American accent.
I've had a lot of books that I've fallen in love with listening to that have changed narrators, and when you read the reviews, it's like, oh my god, ruined my life. And it's jarring at first.
It is, yeah.
But once you get into the pace of the person that's doing it, as long as they're good, then that becomes my guy. It doesn't make it any less kind of a bummer that you're like, I really wish I could have had the other guy read the whole thing. Yeah. But in a thing like Malazan, they probably didn't expect this book to do anything. So the first guy they hired just wasn't even around doing this when they decided they needed to do it. Because does the next guy do multiple books?
I believe so.
Okay, well then
I think he does the rest of the series.
That kind of solves that problem, right?
Well, the reason that it was so...
I look at Malazan as a book that nobody expected to do well.
That's fair.
You know, as a freshman...
unknown author.
A freshman unknown, and then it caught fire, and like you said, now they've hired writing assistants and people to help him, you know. Oh, the 1Q84 book. Okay. Gotcha. Cinematic Space Marines are so different from tabletop. 5th or 6th edition had rules and a White Dwarf for Cinematic Space Marines. Oh, yeah, Phantom, that's right. There was a White Dwarf article that said if you wanted to play them like the Space Marines in the novels, and it literally was like a squad was all you could take. It was like 2,000 points was a squad, and maybe a Dreadnought and a drop pod. If you wanted to take a captain, it was like a captain and 3 Marines as a bodyguard.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and they would literally roast everybody. Because like one bolter shot would do like 18 damage. I'm not remembering the article, but it was insane.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it was insane. Pyro red, bam. Best red in the world.
I agree.
I'm not thinning any of these colors, by the way, just so you know. The only thinning will happen from any leftover water in the paint cup from cleaning the brush. So not much is what that means. And then again, we're just kind of...
Because you just dump it out right after you clean it, so...
Yeah, I just dump
There'll be a little bit left on the sides, but nothing...
And again, just always taking that top-down approach to painting these guys so that all of my color comes from the source of my light, which for my Blood Angels is just the sky. I don't have like any crazy OSL built into anything here, so it literally is just get color on, color comes from the sky, sun's up in the sky, do the thing. Oh, I forgot to take the front plate off. That sucks.
Woo. Dropping models. What's up, Tim?
What's going on, Tim? It's funny because I'm not a book hater, and I try new books all the time. One of the things I've always asked chat to do is to let me know any fun and interesting things they found in the world of like sci-fi fantasy. So I'm always willing to try new things, and some of my favorite books are things that I would have never found on my own. I say found on my own, you know, Audible would throw them out as things that it's like you should try, you know, and a lot of them like Son of the Black Sword or whatever it is by Larry Correia, that whole thing. The whole An Argument of Kings series. that stuff, all just amazing to me. I would have never found those. The authors weren't on my radar. The books weren't on my radar. Audible said, you like this, you should listen to this.
And you're like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, I love when that stuff happens, right? It's just, then it does give me really bad recommendations too.
Yes. Such is life, unfortunately, when it comes to novels. Sometimes.
Need some more red.
I need to find more time to listen to audiobooks.
Is the droid for Onslaught? It's for Star Wars Shatterpoint.
Yep.
Phantom.
Yep. This is Kalani from Star Wars Shatterpoint.
Nimril, is this a two-sun planet?
All the rest of
all valid questions. All valid questions.
Star Wars stuff that is all painted. Which I actually need to varnish too. This is the last model for the first 8. Built 2 more. But those are the good guys. Taking a break from bad guys for a minute.
You can see how even without thinning, I was just feathering that first coat of red. So now I come back in and I can amplify my red the way I want and still leave some of that purplish color that I get from my undertones showing around the edges. So even your base coat can be kind of like a first highlight, as long as you're easy with your paint application. Don't try to go in and blast the color at full opacity, even without thinning. Like I said, I haven't done any thinning here. Just spend less time in each area as you're painting, knowing that you can come back and add more paint where you need it. Right? So you'll see how much brighter the shoulders are now. But everything has pyro red on it. It's just now it's got 2 layers of pyro red.
It looks like you're using the slight transparency to the natural airbrushing.
Yeah, it's just using the blend of the airbrush. You got it exactly, right? The airbrush itself will create a nice blend, and our paint shoots so well through the airbrush that you don't even have to worry about like spotting or texturing or any of that.
That really is a great red recipe that you've gotten.
It works so well.
Yeah.
And we were just playing because the signature sets had come out at the time I wanted to do this. You know? I was like, we'll use all the stuff from the signature set. I mean, minus the pyro red. Can't beat pyro red. And it really did just immediately, with the Payne's gray and the dark plum, give us everything we wanted. Really good shadows with the plum going into the blue that you see on the knees, underneath this thing here. I like it.
Yeah, it's great.
Of course, from our top level, it just looks like we painted him red. That's why you got to make sure you keep that nice, steady downward angle with your paints so that everywhere that needs a shadow maintains that dark blue shadow.
Man, why are streams so relaxing? Streams are great.
They can be when we're not making lightning out of paintbrush bristles.
Yeah, that seems like a really difficult way to spend a stream.
Wasn't really what I would call relaxing.
Relaxing. Hey, you know what? It turned out well though. In the end, a little bit of stress for some cool lightning bristles.
Oh yeah. No, I'm very, very happy with how it turned out.
I'm on board.
Fully getting there.
We got a box of whatchamacallit coming in soon. Are you still gonna mess around with the box shred out of Leviathan?
The what?
Are you still gonna mess around with the box shred out of Leviathan, or?
I don't have one. I didn't order Leviathan. I didn't go into a box with anybody. So unless I told everybody that, hey, if you didn't want your Dreadnought, I would take it. But I gotta wait for the one that is close combat to come out, and the Leviathan one is not that one. So there's a Ballistus, and then there's a whatever the other one's called. The one with the 2 close combat arms. Because I would use it as I would paint it up as a Death Company Dread. So that they're both the same size. I was going to run them as regular Dreads. I know that that's kind of modeling for advantage because it allowed you to charge into more units because the base is bigger. What?
We ordered one, right?
Huh?
We ordered one.
Oh, you ordered a Leviathan for the shop. Oh, yeah. That's right. We do have a Leviathan one. He's staring at me like, what is going on? Crazy old man.
Is there a reason that you're not talking about it?
That's right. That happened after when we were talking about painting some of the Leviathan stuff on stream. Yeah. No, I remember now. Yes. But no.
But no.
Yes, but no. I don't really care about that one. Because it's this one. It's the same Ballistus Dread.
Oh yeah, it is literally the same loadout too, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's Las Cannon's missile launcher. That's all they're showing it at the beginning. That's all it has. I don't think it has on its profile anything else, does it? I looked at it briefly, but
I wouldn't know.
Brutalis, that's what it is. The Brutalis version. It'll be the kit that the Brutalis will be the kit that's posable. Source, what's happening, man?
What up?
Pyro looks good, but what about
Bakamaru,
Cake Roll?
Thank you for the sub.
What about Cake Roll Red, man? Why
Time
no
to
love
celebrate.
for cake?
What kind of shoes do ninjas wear? Tabbies?
Sneakers.
Sneakers? Squeaky shoes?
Bakamaru, thank you for the resub. At Twitch Prime. Who was it that asked me? Somebody asked. I was trying to ignore him. I think it was Ferrithus said, do you actually get any painting done around here? Ferrithus, you bastage. If you're still there. We paint a lot. Not all at once, though. That's the thing.
I'm thinking about trying to come in sometime this weekend and do some painting. Not sure.
Your bio batteries are very low, so it didn't last long. You're painting. Oh no. At least you gave it a shot, huh? At least you gave it a shot.
Gotta give it the good old try.
You always see me painting, but never getting things done. Well, now, wait a minute. That's because
That's
you only
trademarked,
drop in
sir.
every now and then, right? We get things done. I haven't painted the base.
I was about to say, that base is looking mighty...
Well, I don't know what I'm doing for the bases yet on
Yeah,
these, right?
that's fair,
None of
that's
them
fair.
have... They all... Well, I guess they do. The other ones have, like, a gray base, but I wasn't really sold on that. So I'm just trying to get bodies to a point where they feel finished.
You can also just do all the bases at the same time.
Right now.
Make
Yeah,
them
it's what I
cohesive.
generally do rather than painting each base one at a time because I forget the colors I use.
What did you do on the Dark Angels? For the bases?
What do you mean?
For the Dark Angels? What bases did you have on those?
They're all...
Or those are all on custom bases?
They're all resin bases that are all painted in, like, Martian reds
Oh, okay, cool.
to go with the blackish green.
That's a good
Phantom of
pick.
Truth, thank you! Yeah, that was what I was saying, that the other day we picked a stream and decided we were going to make lightning bolts for his force axe or his power axe out of freaking paintbrush bristles. And I nearly quit the hobby that day. There was a I think it was all going good until this one, right, chat?
Yep.
I think it was that piece
That's
right in there.
the exact
it's all
one.
it's all very boingy. Boingy boingy boingy.
Well, don't mess with it too much. You don't want it to break.
Yeah, if it pops off, I'm quitting the hobby. But the yeah, we got some really good stuff going on with the lightning. So I'm very I'm enjoying Dante a lot, which is why I invested the time to do that off the power axe. I thought it was kind of fun. Source, no, they're literally filaments off of a house painting brush. This one. A 4-inch house painting brush that we had laying around that nobody was ever going to use for anything. But I use the bristles for all sorts of terrain. It makes great grass, right? Long grass, things like that. And you take these and bend them up, and that's what the lightning bolts are. Just the bristles off this brush, bent up into angles. Then you super glue the angles to make sure they don't pop and break, and then you just super glue it all together. There you go, and this will last you your whole life. I don't care how many models or dioramas you build.
If you go through
brush
that,
will last your whole life.
you got a problem.
Yeah, if you go through that, you're using it too much. It's just too much. But it's the same thing we did. The first time I showed you how to use that kind of stuff was when we did the grass on the Guardian. So all of the tall, dead grass is also the bristles off of that same paintbrush. Just cut off in bigger clumps and glued together. That's a lot of lightning. We could probably actually make a real bolt of lightning, like up to the clouds, with it if we tried hard enough. It'd be really delicate.
You'd have to buy more brushes.
I don't know, man. It might work. How many miles of filament do you think are in that? It's like maybe, what, 4 inches?
It's what,
filament?
54 and change?
Huh?
5,400 feet?
5278, something like that?
5278? Okay.
Did I remember that right? Is it 5278? I
Two,
feel like it's 5278.
3 maybe?
Or 5728. Huh?
2 or 3 maybe?
Miles?
Yeah.
It's a lot of hair.
Maybe more. It's hard to tell.
Well, if it's like 4 inches of bristle,
Which, yeah.
3 bristles a foot,
Yeah.
I bet there's a mile of filament in there.
Yeah. At least. There might be 2.
You think I should put the lightning on every power weapon in my Blood Angels army, you know, for cohesion? Well, that just sealed the deal. I'm not doing any more power weapons. Are you talking about miles of trim on a GW model? That too, Tim, that too.
Yeah, like somebody who we all know and love.
Horace. How many miles of trim can there possibly be on this model? More.
More than you think.
Just more.
And then more after that. Too much is the answer.
Oh, what? I wouldn't try to make like grass tufts out of that crap.
No, just get regular grass stuffs for that.
If you're gonna make your own grass stuff, you just do it with a good kind of PVC cement and static grass and a static grass applicator. That's all the companies that make them make it.
Put them on the weird
Tufts
little...
exist for the ain't nobody got time for that crowd, of which I am one.
Me too.
I ain't got time for that.
The time or the space.
It's like measuring a coastline. Speaking of coastlines, I finally, after a full day of hunting, found a swamp biome in my Valheim world.
Huh. That is
I couldn't find a freaking swamp. The guys were talking about it. They just killed the elder. And I had just killed the elder, and I was like, yep, off to the swamp. Blah, blah, blah.
3 days later.
Couldn't find one.
3 days later.
I was sailing north, and it was all just black forest and meadows north. I was going around the islands and stuff, and I was like, screw this. So I went home to my main base, sailed back home. And then I said, tomorrow morning game time, after I sleep, I'm going to get up, jump in the boat, I'm going south for the first time. I went south. And I went south for about, I don't know, 25% of the time that I had gone north. Maybe not even. 10% of the time. Swamp. Swamp. Super close. It probably will not have the boss in it. That'll be the boss will be somewhere else in the world.
Isn't the boss fightable in any swamp?
No, the boss locations are in specific areas. Like, not every black forest has an elder. As a matter of fact, you have to sail to get one. Generally, I don't think your starting landmass will have the second boss on it. The first boss will be in your starting landmass, but the second boss is usually a journey by water. The swamp, I don't know. But the...
In the last game that I played...
Yeah, every new thing hurts you in this game when you find it. So far, the swamp hadn't been that bad. I've killed everything I've run across, but I have not fought an abomination yet.
Those are scary.
I found an abomination tree trunk. I just haven't done anything with it yet. I haven't shot it or got it mad at me. You couldn't stand the graphics. Also, not having anyone to play with made it a lonely experience. Source, it is kind of lonely. I play solo. We've got a group here at the shop that play, but I have not played with them yet. So it can be lonely. I enjoy that, though. I enjoy the exploration solo. I think the graphics, to me, if you've ever played Minecraft, the graphics are like modded Minecraft, where you use the graphics mods that make Minecraft look better. It's still that voxel, like, square, but it has, like, really great, lighting. When you get out on the ocean, there's just times where the ocean turns this deep blue-green, and the waves are going, and the sounds are happening, and the mist rolls in, and it's like, this game actually looks pretty good. It's not great.
It's not about crisp detail, it's more about colors and...
Yeah, because it's like, if you zoom in, everything's pixelated hardcore.
Yeah.
But it is done well, in my opinion. I like it.
They utilize the graphics that they have to a good extent.
First time you find a plains, yeah, not trying. I ran it. I have like right at my starting point, I have meadows with a black forest. You can see. So I ran into the black forest. Immediately got chased out by a troll. That was no fun. Didn't have a bow yet, so I didn't even try to fight him. I think I took one swing at him, and then he hit me for nearly all my health, and I was like out. And then ran through the black forest because I still hadn't figured out the map, so I was just running away from the troll and wound up in the mountains, right, where it's freezing, and so you start ticking damage. Right?
It's terrifying.
Luckily, I had already learned how to make food, so I had at least some food to keep me alive, but I barely got out of the mountains with my health. The troll, I ran past a barrow, so the troll got the skeletons distracted the troll long enough for me to get away. So I was safe. And then I got killed by a boar.
What a thing to get killed by.
I was literally like hanging on to a minute of health and in the tall grass because I don't cheat my games. I don't play it with like the ground graphics turned way down because you can shrink the grass away to where you can see everything.
Yeah.
I don't do that. So a boar came up out of the underbrush and hit me once and killed me. World's first boar death. Yeah, it's like I died to a boar because I was down to like 2 health or something. My health wasn't ticking fast enough because this was like right at the beginning and I was just exploring. So I hadn't been able to cook like the foods where you combine stuff yet.
Yeah.
Right? All I could do was cook like deer meat, boar meat, and berries. I hadn't made the, whatever it's called, the stew pot thing. Now I got portals everywhere. You get blood sucked to death by mosquitoes. You didn't buy a 3080 to play games that look like it was made in the 90s. Oh, come on, man.
I did.
Some of those games are amazing for gameplay. I can have my AAA feels like reality games to play. Other ones look really, really good on my computer, and they're fun to play. You killed the second boss last night and just got iron started. Have you found a swamp? Gabe? Yeah. Lucky you. It took me forever. My seed is horrible for swamps. Like horrible for swamps. But I just built a base. When I quit last night, I built a sub base with a portal down by the swamp so I can portal back and forth. It's not close enough to the swamp to like attract wraiths all the time. But I killed all the trolls around there. It's got 3 barrows and a spawner within range, so I can get a bunch of resources.
Nice.
But I can run down to the swamp. And I went into the swamp and cut down some trees and killed some leeches and skeletons and dead Vikings and all that stuff. But
gotta get that sweet, sweet enchanted wood or whatever wood.
Ancient wood.
Ancient wood is what it is.
Yeah. Ancient bark.
Ancient bark
is what it's called. Gosu, I had to sail around for hours, same way. Yeah, same way. But at least I was smart about it. I went to my second base and destroyed my portal, the base that I had for the Elder, because I was like, killed that guy, don't need him anymore. It'll suck if I have to run back there, but I blew my portal up, put it in my pocket, and then got in my boat and just sailed through darkness and day cycles, like 3-4 day cycles, day-night cycles. Found no swamps. And then, like I said, went back home and went south. I hadn't gone south. I'd gone and covered a bunch of north, no swamps. So sailed south and found one on the first other continent that I went to. Found one. Mo, I found the merchant in the Black Forest right by my swamp, actually. Like, the merchant is, like, literally a 30-second run from my base to get to the merchant. And it's a 30-second run south to the swamp. So I put my base right in between the swamp and the merchant. The first merchant, the Hodor, whatever his name is. Hodir. I don't remember what his name is. The guy with the big bantha out front. He's the only one I found. There's a new one they just added in, and she's in the meadows. I have not found her yet. The nice thing with the merchants is they show up on the map before you find them. Like, once you get close.
Oh, you can see them?
The little money bag shows up. At least it did for me. Gabe, you cheated it like I told you to. I didn't. I went and fought him. I did him again because I forgot to get my swamp key and it despawned. So I was an idiot. So I had to kill him twice. So I killed him the second time and I just said, screw it. I'm not digging underneath it or anything like that. I'm just going through and killing it normal. Took like, I don't know, 80 arrows, 80 flaming arrows. Yeah, I haven't heard of him spawning, like, underneath. That's crazy. Because he can't port. And he probably couldn't walk anywhere, right? So he's just trapped. That's crazy.
How are your chili cheese Fritos?
I love them. All the bosses are really cool. The mechanics are fun. From what I've seen, I've been watching a lot of videos and stuff. I've liked all of them so far. The 2 I've fought. They're really simple. If you have bronze armor, the second one doesn't hit you very hard. Just hide behind the 4 pillars and pretty safe. The wind up on his tentacle. If those tentacles hit automatically, as you run into them, that would suck. But the wind up on him is so long,
you can dodge them.
You can dodge everything. Keep an eye on your sweet rolls. Well, I was going to compare to the other guys that we... Oh, it's not going to look right because I've already got the highlights on these guys. But yeah, my darkness is still good. So once I get highlights on, it'll match up really well. The biggest key is with this way of doing the red is to make sure that your pyro red matches across models, because it's the thing that will have the most impact on making the models look different guy to guy. I think we nailed it on the big guy. Your first merchant was go as far to the east as you can without falling off the edge on a teeny tiny island. What? That sucks. I'm still on... I mean, I don't know because I haven't played other seeds. My seed might be actually really good. My seed, I'm like in an area about, I don't know, yay big in the middle of the screen. Maybe it's bigger than that. Maybe it's like this. I don't know. I guess it depends on how big your screen is, right? I have 80% of the world left to go look at. Maybe 90. And I got the merchant in the Black Forest right next to a troll cave. And those 3 barrows. The old big stone buildings that have the front porch. Not the towers that are narrow inside, but the bigger buildings that are like, used to be 2-story. This one was only 1. So I built that. The world is really big. The world in Valheim is huge. I just did normal seed. I didn't change the seed from whatever the starting thing is, right? But it's a huge world. Like, it is insane how much stuff there is to explore. All right, I know it's almost quitting time, but we're going to do some red-orange. Real quick, like.
Oh, is this the fancy schmancy red-orange? Is.
Not eclectic salmon. Just red-orange. Eclectic salmon is next.
The timing is good because I am pretty much done with calling. Gotta do some red eyeballs. Old power red. Then we're done. Handler asks, is the red orange releasing in the next expansion after the next signature release?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, unfortunately it would be out already had I not decided to do Signature 2 first. Great color.
Excited for it.
Yep, it's pretty bitchin'. Definitely gets the reds to that perfect punchy level without pushing them into that zone where it's just too orange.
Desaturated world or too orange.
Yeah, you just get too much orange going and it just doesn't feel right. It's like, stops looking like red.
How about eclectic salmon?
What's that?
Tim's asking about eclectics.
It's next. We will not be adding that to the line, I don't think. Neat color, but probably one that you'll have to mix all the time. Pretty good.
Alright, Kalani is done. We have done roster of 8 models
That's awesome, man.
for our
Nice when you get things done.
Shatterpoint. I concur.
How much for a one-time run, small batch for chat?
Chat only.
I'd have to go see. You know, I don't think it's here. I don't think we have it mixed. Every now and then, as we're going through and approving batches, we get a full batch made. I don't think that's the case with Red Run. We already have some of the Signature 2 paints here.
Oh, we have batches already?
What's that?
We have batches already?
Yeah, we have batches ready. We can fill. We haven't filled them because we don't have labels.
Paint Liquor, when I went to the board game bar, I almost bought Shatterpoint. You endured the temptation. Well, allow me to tempt you more. Paint Liquor. With a really cool painted set of...
Whole army.
Yeah.
What the balls?
This is a full army. You play the whole game.
Now he's just boasting.
I
Just
mean,
bragging.
I painted it on stream. I ain't cheated yet.
He's just bragging. Now we got eclectic salmon.
What is the mix for eclectic salmon?
The chat signature line. It's the same. It's red. It's pyro red, orange, and then warm flesh.
That's a good mix.
Is how this whole thing has been
Yeah, that's a really
sizing up. It just gives you a neat kind of bright salmony.
Salmon. Oh, can we please get a chat signature line of paints? They're pretty cool, but I have 2 Legion boxes unpainted. Like Star Wars Legion? What boxes? Eclectic Salmon! Getting the job done. Base one is Shadow Collective. Do you have a Shadow Collective army, or is this just trying it out?
What is Shadow Collective?
Shadow Collective is basically Darth Maul's criminal syndicate that he creates after coming back from getting chopped in half.
Oh.
In the cartoon. Cool.
Right, in the Solo movie. That was the thing.
I don't know if the Solo movie had the Shadow Collective. It was a different syndicate, I think.
Well, no, it had Darth Maul at the end in a syndicate of baddies.
Oh, then yeah, that would have been the Shadow Collective. That's what it would have been. Or would it be past that point? Because this is when Han Solo is alive. It might be past that point. I don't know. I don't know exactly how long the Shadow Collective was around.
Yeah, not my cup of tea. Not something I.
But the Shadow Collective shows up in the Clone Wars animated show. So the end of Solo would have been
long after that.
Long after that, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Solo had the Red Dawn, but Maul does show up at the end of that movie when he's talking to the lady. No, Cantankerous. The Solo movie is Han Solo from the latter, or from the original series, and the Clone Wars happens significantly before that. Like a whole, basically a generation.
Yeah, basically a generation, right?
Yeah,
because it was Leia's parents.
Yeah. Reaper Miniatures rating with a party of 23.
What?
Hello. Welcome.
Hello, Reaper crew.
He's painting with salmon. Like an actual salmon. Like just fished it out of the river.
That's not what's happening.
Blended it up, put it into an airbrush, sprayed it on his bottle.
That's not what's happening.
It's very eclectic.
Pay no heed. Very eclectic salmon.
It's very eclectic.
It is a very eclectic salmon color. You're not wrong there. So, okay. I'll let you live.
Cantankerous. To be fair, they're all pretty convoluted anyways.
There's no semblance of cohesion.
It's official now. You heard it from an official source. That is the origin of the eclectic salmon.
Thank you, Reaper. What's going on, gang? Good to see you. Hope everything is going well. Hi and welcome.
Jen says it's already in the works. 6 bottles of plaid scheduled for release July of 2073.
2073?
Yeah.
Good. Not my problem. If there's one thing I know, 2073, not my problem.
Yeah.
Unless, for some reason, they come up with like some life-enhancing, life-extension drug that they only give to people they don't like. And then somebody decides to not like me and give it to me. That's the only way I'm sticking around for anything 2070s. Not interested. Not interested. All right.
Yeah, 2073 is probably even not a great time frame for me either. To be fair.
I don't think any of us are really hip to 2073.
Yeah,
well, I don't know. What is it? It's 2023, so that's 50 years. You could be there.
I mean, I would be 70. Oh, I'd be 80, pretty much.
Yeah, I ain't trying to be like 103.
Yeah,
that's it, chat. Nailed it. Nailed it.
Nailed it. Jacob might see it through.
Nailed it.
He'd be a spry young lad of 70 something.
70 something. A spry young lad of dead. Yeah. So that's our Blood Angels red right there. That's how the whole shebang goes together. For those of you who were not here at the beginning, our Blood Angels start with Payne's Gray, a really nice deep blue gray. Then we use our dark plum off the top of that. Creates a kind of a neat, deep purplish, but leaves the shadow nice and dark, right? You get a nice neutral shadow, but it starts trending into our reds because of the dark plum. Then we just smack it with bold pyro red. All of this through the airbrush for this army. No thinning. So no blending other than what the airbrush does naturally. No thinning, no jacking around. Just bang, bang, bang. Then after that, we do red-orange, which is just our pyro red with our orange. And then eclectic salmon, which I fish out of the river, according to Baby J.
Yep. Yeah, we got a local river here.
Lady Kakaro, what's going on? Thank you for the follow.
Totally spawn.
Tim says I'll be 92 and still moshing. Liar.
Let's see here. Paint Liquor said something. Yeah, Baby J. So the collective died with Maul's defeat on Mandalore. Factions continued onward on their own, like Pike Syndicate in the Book of Boba. Okay, so it's not the Shadow Collective, but it is Maul, who is running around doing stuff, I guess.
Plaid paint technology. Jen's already ahead of her time. She says she doesn't like sci-fi, but she's already got all this figured out. She's been reading my comics.
Scrumbly Dumpus rules for Darth Vader and secondary unit Obi-Wan just dropped. We'll have to take a look after work today.
They're going to put me in a dread... Okay, now if they put me in a dread sarcophagus, I'm down. All right?
I'm down. We can make
I'm
this
down.
work.
If I get to talk in that electronic dread voice and be pissed off about why they're keeping me alive the whole time and have large guns, I'm down.
I'm on it.
I'm there.
All right, I'm on it.
I'm there. You don't get to be my tech marine.
Why?
Because I feel like you'll be positive all the time, trying to drag me out of my negative sphere of influence. You'll be like, calm, ancient one. Calm. It is not yet time for your vengeance.
We must soothe the machine.
We have to soothe the machine spirit. I don't really want Baby J rubbing oil all over me. I'm just gonna come out. She's gonna come out. She's gonna come out and say it. She's gonna come out and say it, chat. I feel like there's a time and a place for everything except that.
But we got we've got all this extra oil from us making this eclectic salmon.
I feel like there's all sorts of things in the world that are fine, but that's not one of them.
That's hilarious. Holy cow.
Rules for Darth Vader and secondary unit Obi-Wan just dropped. I heard, okay, so they were telling me on Friday night game night that you can mix and match however you like. I didn't think that was the case.
That is the case.
Oh, man, that's stupid. You can put good guys with bad guys inside of a unit.
Correct.
Oh, that's horrible.
No.
Immersion breaking.
I mean, you don't have to do that. But yes.
Well, that means min-maxing is going to have nothing to do with Star Wars now. They're just lookalikes.
Pretty much. I mean, that's kind of the same for Marvel, but in Marvel it's a little bit more. It's a little bit less weird because there's a lot more comics that have crossover weirdness happening.
Well, Marvel, a lot of your leadership abilities, which are really cool, and the reason why you put stuff together has to do with your syndicate, your group, and you can't bring from outside that and receive the benefit, so it makes it less meta to do so.
That is kind of true for this as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, for example, Count Dooku specifically deals and does stuff with separatists and droids.
And if you don't have the keyword, then why are you there?
Then why are you taking them in the thing?
Yeah, okay, well that makes sense.
Like, I would never take any of these models probably outside of a configuration pretty similar to this.
Oh, that makes sense.
Like, I could swap him for something else.
Narkill, what's going on?
But, like, the core of, like, this, or, like, B2s instead of these guys, would be, like, the way that I would do it.
Gotcha.
But that leaves me, like, a cool primary that I can put in if I want to, or a cool secondary that I can put in if I want to.
I just think it looks good.
Yeah. I think so, too.
Just looked at the card. You can take a squad led by Anakin and a squad led by Darth Vader in the same game. Seems stupid. No.
Is that actually the case?
Don't they have to be from the same era?
So, okay, so the box that he's talking about is a box that is from the timeline of the Obi-Wan TV show.
Uh-huh.
And the Obi-Wan TV show happens right in between the end of the Clone Wars era and the New Hope era.
Right. So,
they are allowed to work for either. So that the Darth Vader and Obi-Wan box will work for either Clone Wars or will work for the Imperial era.
Oh.
so you can use them with.
Yeah, but
both
why
sides.
would you be able to have Anakin and Darth Vader?
I would have to look at the cards. It doesn't sound right.
Like, you can't have 2 Iron Mans and 2 Captain Americas.
Correct.
Unless you could have Captain America Falcon. Oh, you're done.
Okay.
At least I think I'm done. Did I clean it?
No.
No, I gotta clean it off.
Okay.
So.
So specifically.
Oh no! A needle cover just fell.
Oh no.
No. That's never gonna get
I'll hunt it.
binded.
I'll find it. It's fine.
If what I see is it, we are the luckiest bastards.
Well, we are always the luckiest passages. We're the luckiest passages in the world. What can I say? Look at that. Proof. He found it. Apparently, from what I understand, the rules.
I just want to explain to you, this is like a 300 square foot room, and I just found this after it dropped on the floor. We should go to Vegas.
We should go to Vegas.
We should go to Vegas.
Yeah, we should go to Vegas.
Jen, trip to Vegas.
Yep. On our way back from Gen Con, we're skipping right past
Vegas.
Phoenix, and we're going right to Vegas.
Right to Vegas.
No, so the rules for taking models in Shatterpoint is you cannot have a model that has the same name. So the question is, and this might be an error on the card if this is the case, Darth Vader should have the keyword Anakin Skywalker as one of his names, because it has like their name. Their
it seems
title.
weird that they would do that,
Yes.
like, because they don't let you have 2 Tony Starks in Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Correct. Oh, they said, oh, never mind.
He can't be in a strike force with Anakin.
Well, it says Vader cannot. Oh, it says Vader cannot be in a strike force with Anakin. Okay, there you go.
Now that makes sense.
Yep.
Because it seems like they would make them fairly powerful.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't want both of them at the same time.
Yes. And obviously the Darth Vader from the whatever that era is called, the original trilogy era, would also be called Darth Vader, and so you wouldn't be able to take him either way. T-Schmidt, that may be the case, which is fine.
I just want to be able to take a bunch of Bespin guards, because they were literally the most useless characters in the entire series.
Which ones?
Bespin guards, the Cloud City guards, with the stupid helmets.
They are not released in any of the materials that I've seen.
Well, then I'm not playing until Bespin guards exist.
Okay. I'll let you know.
And the bald dude that did what Lando needed him to do.
Yeah, the bald dude.
I'll run Lando, the bald dude, and a bunch of Bespin guards.
Yeah.
That's all I'll do. They'll be horrible, and I will love it. With Boba Fett. Because he was there. Yep. So I will only do Cloud City Army.
I'm sure Boba Fett will.
When I can do a Cloud City force, I will play the game.
That sounds like fun.
I'm probably going to eat crow on that, because next release, Lando Calrissian. Bespin guards. They are the most useless things in the entirety of Star Wars, so I doubt they'll ever make a miniature for them.
You want to hear something really funny?
They're going to have to be really desperate to make a miniature for Bespin guards.
You know what model they're making?
What?
The queen, the queen of Naboo, and yeah,
Amidala and her guards.
Yeah, it's a model.
I saw this as the stupidest thing.
So if you want Bespin guards,
they're probably going to make them.
They probably can make them.
I need to take my words back, Chad.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to end poorly for me. I'm going to be playing Star Wars Shatterpoint before too long.
You should be careful.
I look at them set up that Shatterpoint game, and I'm like, look, dude, in order to make a miniatures game, there is no need for that much crap on the table.
Terrain-wise?
Way too many dice, way too many tokens, way too many little glass cubes, way too much. It's like way too many measuring sticks. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
What happened to like a handful of D6 and a tape measure?
Well, to be fair, one of the tokens, or not tokens, but one of the range rulers that they give you can literally just throw away.
Because it's the 1-inch one that all the other ones do just by using it. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, did you just need to make another plastic mold? I don't understand.
I don't know. They might have just had extra space in the mold.
Phantom says, sounds like you're talking about Fantasy Flight. Yes, your games have too much crap. It's not anymore, though. It's Atomic Mass, and I like those guys, so.
I do, too. They're good people.
But get rid of all the crap, man.
Also, to be fair, I also don't particularly care for the weird dice thing. Not dice, cube thing.
The tracker?
Yeah.
Is that your game tracker?
It's the victory point.
Yeah.
It's an interesting implementation. It's a neat design, but I
haven't seen it functionally. Eric and Ruben have tried to explain it to me, but I haven't paid enough attention to really know if I care or not.
It's
I like game mechanics like that and all that, but if it takes stuff, I don't like it. It's like I already have miniatures. Why do I have to have so much stuff?
It's Victory Point Tug of War.
It's like Infinity had so many status tokens. I was like, all right, this is getting out of hand.
Yeah. This one doesn't have a ton of status conditions.
It's got like 2 different types of dice.
Well, you have attacker and defender dice.
Oh my god. And they need to really, really, really stop making games with 8-sided dice.
The defender dice are D6s.
I know.
Hey, we're stepping in the right direction.
I know.
I'll take it.
It turns out 8-sided dice are the worst random rolling dice on the planet because they don't roll.
I think they've done a better job of making it so that the results on the dice just are generically more hits. Like, I feel like those dice, because they don't have defensive modifiers on them, like, they can
the
just
attack dice have more stuff, yeah.
Right, so it feels less swingy than it.
Well, that was like Star Wars
Legion?
Legions, the same way, right? It didn't have defense thing, it just had successes and failures, right?
Yes.
Crit successes and failures.
Correct. But you roll different, their defense dice are D6s. And their offensive
Is that true?
dice...
I thought it was just white, black, and red, and it was all the same.
No, so there's white, black, and red offense dice, and
right.
white, black, and red defense dice.
Oh, okay.
The offense ones are D8s, and the defensive ones are D6.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I never understood that. I mean, I understand it.
Yeah.
But
it's for more granularity when you don't have numbers to determine whether or not you hit.
Any plans for a Monument Hobbies palette? Asked Sapo. How do you mean? Like a wet palette? We've been working on a palette paper set for dry palette and a dry palette stuff. We're also looking at some wet palette things, but no guarantees yet. Avian, what's going on? Good to see you.
Avian, thank you for the sub. Welcome back.
You didn't like the Devo helmets? If they'd have been Devo helmets, I probably would have liked it better. When are we going to see the new reds being released, Armins? What new reds? The orange red will be in the next real set that we do. The next Monument Hobbies expansion set 5, will have orange red in it. Or red orange, whatever we decide to call it. Probably call it red orange because it rolls off the tongue better. The dark crimson comes out in the next signature series set. There's a dark burgundy in the next signature series set that comes out next month, end of next month, beginning of August. And that's all we got, red wise. That's it. That's all. Nothing else. We're out of here.
Sounds like a good stopping point to me.
We're out of here. I painted a Dread. He painted 8 freaking models.
Yay.
Thank God I didn't paint them all at the same time I painted my Dread, and I would feel really bad. But
no,
close.
I've spent two weeks in a day.
Warpig, thank you for the biddies.
It's been a long couple of weeks working on these.
Yeah, no, they look fantastic. Plus, it's gonna be good to play them.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Gang, as always, thanks for watching some paint dry with us. I was not sure I was even gonna paint today. Half of me wanted to sit in the chair and just talk nonsense. So I'm glad I stuck it out. We got the Dread with some red.
Yeah, it looks great.
And a good starting point for getting him on part of our force. And Baby J finished his Star Wars stuff. So, great start to the week. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. We will be streaming all 5 days this week. Tomorrow and Thursday, of course, are time for Tuesday and Thursday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 5. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like today, noon to 2. So if you're new here, hit that follow button. It gives you 5 chances to catch up with us and come and join in on the festivities. We like to talk paint, nonsensical sci-fi, it seems like, books and all other sorts of nerd stuff. So feel free to join us. Make sure to check out all the links that are going to get tossed up in the chat.
Apparently not by me, because my keyboard's not working.
Oh, no.
might be out of battery.
I will do it. Store. Bang.
So,
Discord.
make sure to check out the link to the store, which is where you can find all the fantastic paints we've been using here. It's all the stuff that we make. All the Monument Pro Acryl stuff. All those available on the store. Don't forget to check on the Discord, where you can hang out, ask questions, and learn / show off your cool stuff amongst many other fantastic, talented hobbyists. And our friendly local game store locator is a great place for you to find local places to pick up our products.
Tons of stores around the globe that sell our stuff. Go help them out. Go play some games there, buy some paint, do your thing.
Heck yeah.
Have fun hobbying and stick around. We're going to find somebody to raid, so show some love wherever we wind up. And we look forward to catching you back here tomorrow. Adios, gang.